What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about Zebec today, ZBCN USD. Hit that like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here. If I do my job right, this should be a quick video. This shouldn't be a long video at all. I just want to touch base with you guys here before I get the day started. Here we are at about $0.0034, roughly 4 days, 10 hours left in this week. You've come up a little bit. That's nice. I had a lot of yahoos rubbing it in my face, at least trying to rub it in my face. It's funny because throughout this whole move, even this drop from the high where I was bearish at the top to the low here, where we were still bearish, right? 25% drop overall. I think we were actually momentarily bullish there, but who cares? Who cares about the semantics? 25% drop. I still wasn't at the point where I was like, I'm right, you're wrong, eat it haters, eat it losers. But I make a bearish post on X and the price pumps 8%. And I get all the hate in the world. It's funny, right? Delusion wasn't even celebrating yet, right? Because the reality is, and the reason why I didn't celebrate yet is because we still could move higher. You're finding support at prior highs. You've got higher lows. Even from here, there's still a chance that you could move higher. I don't care if you move higher. You move higher, you're still going to move lower. We're in the grand aspect of this move overall. If I got bearish here, this is the only high that I was bearish on out of all of these highs. And then it goes up here, boo-hoo, whatever. We were wrong about this little bit here. That's okay. It's still going to go lower. We're still inevitably going to see a larger drop. And I've answered this question. A lot of people have been asking this question specifically over the past week. And I feel like I've answered it plenty of times, but I'm just going to answer it again because there seems to be a lot of confusion. People are wondering why I believe Zebec will see new all-time lows. A lot of people are theorizing. They're like, does this mean that you think Bitcoin's in a bear market still? Yes, obviously I think Bitcoin's in a bear market still. I don't think Bitcoin's going to be in a bull market and Zebec sees new all-time lows. No, that wouldn't happen. The reason why I think Zebec will see new all-time lows, beyond the fact that I think Bitcoin's in a bear market, it's a very simple kind of rule of thumb. You take the all-time high for any altcoin in their first bull market, which that is this right here, and you take the low price of any altcoin by the end of their first bear market, and it's oftentimes greater than 90%. By the way, a 90% drop would take us to our all-time lows. Let's imagine you just get a 90% drop or a less than 90% drop, which even an 89% drop would be statistically improbable based on what the average altcoin does. I said this a bunch. I'm trying to make it as clear as I can. You don't need TA. You just need statistically backed data. And the data is this. Go through any coin. Go through hundreds, thousands of coins that have existed for multiple cycles. That's at least one full cycle, one full bull market, one full bear market. It doesn't even have to exist for a whole bull market, but a whole bear market. The first bear market that every crypto sees, Bitcoin, XRP, Ethereum, all of them, they see a greater than 90% drop in their first bear market. And typically it's actually like 94% or more. You'll go through it. If you don't have anything to do today, spend an hour. Go through all kinds of coins. You might find one that didn't drop 90% in its first bear market. Okay, it's possible. It's possible. Maybe Zebec doesn't see new all-time lows. Maybe I'm wrong about that. I still confidently believe that we're going to go below these lows, but the chance that we don't go to new all-time lows is like less than 1%, man. It's like less than 1%. If not, at best, like 1 to 2%, right? It's not likely going to happen. So again, the reason why, without any TA at all, just backed in my experience in observations in crypto, what we see, and the answer to this, the reason why the haters hate this answer so much, or this explanation, is because they're like, well, but it's not KTA. It doesn't have all this stuff going for it. That's what every single crypto says, man. You sound like everybody else. Every person who is an XRP fanboy, a Dogecoin fanboy, a Tau fanboy, a name your coin, Solana, Cardano fanboy, an EOS fanboy. Do you even know about Neo or Ontology or Dentacoin or what are some other Axie Infinity, other coins from like cycles ago that were just super popular? Namecoin. Everybody, Litecoin, Bitcoin Cash even, right? That had strong tribalistic mindsets. You sound just like all of them. Oh, but it's not that coin. You're comparing this to this. It's not this coin. They're all the same, man. They're all the same. Bitcoin included. They're all the same. They all see 90% plus drops in their first bear market. So that's on that simple notion alone. I don't need to do any TA to explain that, but we can do some TA to explain that. Here, you're getting lower highs. Here we're on Bybit. This is the largest exchange for Zebec as far as trading goes, trading volume goes. There's no exchange that provides larger volume than this. It is perpetuals. It's not spot volume. You know, there's arguments to be made there, I suppose, but still, I think relative to the price action, this is a significant exchange to monitor as far as the volume goes with Zebec. You broke out of this trend. No volume came in at all. No volume came in at all, you guys. This is very common in bull trap environments. This does look like a bull trap. This fish hook, it looks like a bull trap. We take the high to the low. You're finding resistance directly at the golden ratio. You even this week back tested that golden ratio area and found resistance. What happens if you go below this low? What happens if you retrace from here? What happens if this is just another lower high? And it is. Yes, you're above this high, but it's still a lower high overall, guys. I mean, maybe this could be a higher high in this aspect. I don't know. I don't know if I would consider it that. It still looks like a lower high overall. It's like this high was above this high. This high was above this high. That there were higher highs relative to that. I don't know. You could make the argument, but I still think it's a lower high. What happens if you go below this low? Low to high here. Finding resistance at prior support. Finding resistance at prior resistance. You go below this low, your target areas are 0011 to 008. That's your primary target area. You get below 008, and your next target area would be anything from the 1886 to the 2618. I've been very vague as far as where I hope the answers I've given you are suitable, or at least you know where I'm coming from as to why I believe we're going to see new all-time lows. It's a very simple thought. It's not complex. Prove me wrong. Go through, find yourself a coin, and tell me how many coins you looked up to find that coin. 1 out of 1,000, 5 out of 1,000, that did not see a 90% drop in its first bear market. Maybe Ethereum actually didn't see a 90% drop, didn't it? Did it see a 90% drop in its first bear market? I think it did. But let's just see here. Hold on. Monthly time frame. Oh, this doesn't have the all-time history. Let's see. Nope, it did. It saw. Yeah, it did. Anyways, I forget what Ethereum's. Oh, right. Ethereum saw $100 billion in its first bull market. That's the weird thing about Ethereum. Most cryptos don't see above $80 billion in their first bull market. I mean, most don't even see above like $5 billion, but for the higher limitations. Anyways, it's very rare to get above $80 billion in the first bull market. It's very, very rare indeed. I think Ethereum and XRP are some of the only coins to do it. Anyways, I digress. You get below this. This is the secondary zone. I've been very vague as far as where the lows will be whenever it comes to new all-time lows for Zebec. The reason why is because why get specific with it? Why does it matter? I mean, whether it's here, whatever, in this zone, that's a big difference. Don't get me wrong, but if you're buying here, I don't care if it drops 50%. You're still super smart for buying at all-time lows. I will buy as soon as we get below this low. I don't have to wait for the exact low. Relative to this movement overall, that's phenomenal. Anywhere in that zone. It doesn't have to be specific, but somebody was asking for a specific target. I answered, this would be the specific target because I do expect us to go below the all-time lows. That would take us below the golden ratio. That would give us access to the secondary target zone. That's anything from 0062 to 0062 to 0003. That's the specific target area that I would have in mind. I don't think that we go lower than that. Is it possible? Sure. I would think that if you were to go any lower than that, anywhere too far away from these lows, it would be a very extreme kind of scam wick, capitulative wick, panic selling wick, and then you come back up in that same day, same week. You know, it's not going to be extreme. Kind of like what you saw here. It might be extreme for a moment, but that's about it. So, and I do believe in time, even with this, that Zebec will see new all-time highs. And what's funny is, the people here who think I'm a hater or a troll for not saying that we're going to go to new all-time highs right now, there's going to be maybe not the same exact people, but the same people with the same type of mentality and psychology that are going to be down here saying, what do you mean it's going to see new all-time highs? This thing's busted. It's total crap. We're going to be bearish at the relative highs. We're going to be bullish at the relative lows. That's what happens. And again, back here, we were saying, don't sell. Not financial advice, not a financial advisor. Don't panic sell. Likely you will get a move up that'll take you into the heart of this range, and you'll have a chance, if you bought throughout this range, to either mitigate your losses or take a net zero and be able to walk away, or take even slight profits. And if you DCA'd here, you'd be able to add to those profits that come in. I've been bullish since this low, guys. We're bearish now. That doesn't mean that I have to be right. I can be wrong. I've been wrong before. I will be wrong again. It's inevitable. Maybe Zebec doesn't go to new all-time lows, but at the very least, entertain the thought of going below this low, because I'm thoroughly in that camp of belief that we do go below this low. You found support at the golden ratio. You're finding resistance at the 236. By the way of the fibs, if we are to return to the golden ratio, we don't even have to get below this low, but if we get down below 0.0017, we get back below there on a weekly or daily closing basis, the statistical probability that we would at least go to 2011 to 3089, the statistical probability that we would at least go here is tremendous. And we start to go down here. My question to you would be, imagine this. Imagine that we make a move that's down here. Would going to new all-time lows seem so preposterous at that point? The statistical probability of getting here only goes up once we cross the threshold of 0017. We cross below that threshold on a daily or weekly closing basis, it's here. And then again, if we're here, this lower than this is not a hard dot to connect. Yes, there's fib extensions here based off of this all-time low to all-time high. That is a significant fib. Maybe we find support here. Maybe that's the argument for 303. But I don't think that this target area should be considered, personally. It's an extreme move. It could happen. It could happen again in really extreme environments. We could go as low as maybe 3017, 3016. Sure, it could happen, but that's not the call. Really, the call, just simply and vaguely put, would be that we just see new all-time lows. I don't care if it's just below. I don't care if it's extremely below. The idea would be that it's going to be at least a 90% drop or more, but probably a 94% drop. I mean, a 94% drop in that sense would be at about 0004. 000420. Psychological support. I got nothing else for you guys. I didn't actually mean to go over all this, explaining why or where or how I believe that we're going to see new all-time lows. I wanted to get into the short-term stuff. I wanted to give you some parameters to prove me wrong. This video, I did not do my job properly. I was supposed to make this a short video, so I'm going to try to make this part short. This is what I had in mind, what I'm about to do for this video, okay? 1 hour time frame. We look at this. You're moving down. Volume's not really coming in. That's a positive. You're moving up. Volume's coming in. You topped off with a lot of volume. It's kind of a positive. You're breaking out. Volume did come in a little bit here, but you're moving down lower here. Not a lot of volumes coming in. Not bad. 1 hour time frame is overall bullish. You're rejecting the oversold zone again. You are bearish, but it's like you're reluctantly bearish. That's not bad. So if you want to prove me wrong and send the price higher, send the price above the highs that you formed here on the 27th of April, 28th of April, whatever that was. What I'd like to see, let's get on the 4 hour time frame. Same kind of context as that longer term, but just in the much shorter term. Get back above the golden ratio. Get back above 00, and on a closing basis. Close a day above 00359, and maybe at that point we can start talking about 0043 to 0048. Until then, I'm not fazed by this move up. You are building a little bit of volume as you're moving up, and that's great. You do have higher lows and higher highs. That's great, relatively speaking. But I'm not impressed. You kind of broke out of this point of resistance and then flopped. You know, it's not impressive in my opinion. But the downside reaction here is also not that impressive. So there is a chance. There still is a chance that you can move higher. Even when we go below this low, I'm not going to be gloating, but there's certainly no excuse to gloat even at these lows. So if we move up 5%, please don't feel like you have the room to gloat either. We need to not just move above the golden ratio, but close above it on a daily basis. Again, that level to invalidate or at least to build the prospects that we do see new relative highs above 0043 would be closing a daily time frame above 00359. Close above there, okay? You want to validate my side, you want to validate the downside, close below. And I would even say just a couple 4 hour time frames in a row, close 2 4 hour time frames below 0032. Do that. You don't even need lower lows. You don't even need higher highs. Closing below here is further away than closing above here. I'm sticking with the downside. The reason I'm sticking with the downside is because yesterday I made that video where the short term looked rather bullish. I still stuck with the downside anyways. The short term looked rather bullish. You still gave it up. Whenever you have a bullish environment and you give it up anyways, that's not good, you guys. It's really not good at all. And that's what you did. 4-hour RSI, still bullish overall, still very bullish. Stochastics are reset, bullish. The MACD is decent. I don't like that you found support at the 0 and you had this weak ass move. I don't like that at all. That doesn't look good. That's incriminating. Again, you had a very bullish environment. You did F all with it. The RSI on the daily time frame rejecting the 0 level, it's not necessarily good, right? Where from here you were finding support moving up to the overbought zone. From here you're finding support moving up to the overbought zone. From here moving up, finding support in the overbought zone. Here you found a bunch of support and you're not getting overbought. Things are different. That's not good. I don't like that. Still possible that you can move up higher. Still completely possible. Stochastics do look bearish at the moment, and the MACD also looks bearish. You're building bearish momentum now, where you looked like you were going to cross yesterday. Bearish overall. I gave you the parameters to validate and invalidate my perspective. Hit that like button, subscribe, leave me a scathing comment if you didn't like the video, and tell me what I could do better or worse. Take care. Bye-bye.